This is my roommate Josh. He plays in a band called the Electric Bastards. I keep saying the Electrical Bastards and he kills me when he hears it. I can tell the band's important to him. He practices bass lines in his room and he's serious about going to practice. I like Josh and I'm curious what it is about the Bastards that excites him.
Is that good?
That's good.
Okay.
Twice a week, the band practices in a facility on Denby Road in Allston, Massachusetts. They allowed me to film them in there a couple of times. Halfway during the filming process, frontman Johnny cut his trademark hair.
I'm setting myself up to get a lot of shit from Geoff, who I gave a lot of crap to when he cut his hair, and Josh.
Not all band members particularly like being filmed, but they were accommodating. So what you're about to see is the result of our joint effort.
Steve's. What, was fucking bike storage now, too?
That's cute, dude.
I keep this thing in my car full of ice, water, and Gatorade.
Really?
That's not
Cool at all.
big difference, Trace.
It's from the show,
stuff,
dude.
You know?
This bike is not from this show, that's for sure.
I was here before. In theory. In theory. Until we kick these other dudes out.
Someday.
Sooner than later, dude.
The Bastards consider themselves lucky with their practice space, which they lovingly call Club Awesome. Unfortunately, they cannot afford the luxury of a private space, so they have to share it with another band.
It's hard to have roommates, and those guys are nice guys, but there's a lot of them, and the guys that we deal with on a primary basis are like really cool, and we feel like they're responsible, but there's some like auxiliary members that somehow have keys that we think go in there, and like, you know, sometimes our equipment's disrespected. That's the proper term, and I get upset about that.
What are the other bands? I think we're going to try to ask Officer May to play that PA show.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Let's talk to
Great, just a cathartic experience when you just kind of turn your amps up, you know, loud and put in your earplugs and just make noise for 2.5 hours. It's great.
1, 2, 3, 4.
I guess I usually tell people it's like, you know, like psychedelic garage pop rock and stuff. Like, you know, I liken it to bands like, I like to think there's like a lot of Bowie in there, like Man Who Sold the World era, and like, you know, Stardust, Hunky Dory era more on the album, and like Kinks, like Pie Records era Kinks, there's a lot of that. I'm intensely influenced by the Kinks. And live we've got like this like triple guitar thing going that's really cool.
Was it fast? It felt good.
It was a little bit, but it was like a little fast, but it's like if we did it that fast live, it'd be the slowest we've ever done live, so.
Johnny is the leader of the Electric Bastards. He writes the songs and decides how they should be played. He started out on bass when he was 14 and almost immediately began writing his own songs.
The first time I realized that people liked songs that I wrote was in like my senior year in high school. I did a song in the senior show, and like people were singing it in the hallways like afterwards, and I was like, wow.
The other Bastards don't seem to mind that Johnny is in the lead. They recognize his talent as a songwriter and, after all, the band is Johnny's baby.
He's been in a lot of bands, but this band is his. I mean, not that we get bossed around or anything, but like it's all his music. He records it, he brings it to the table and says, okay, this is what I want you to play.
And do you all agree to that?
For the most part, it's not like we don't have any say in things. I mean, he asks opinions. It's not like he thinks that there's absolutely only one way to do things, but he'll say, this is how I had it in mind. I mean, some things are not negotiable with him. There's some stuff where it's like, I want this played like this. And they're his songs, and I think that's fine.
The Bastards may seem like your average garage band, but unlike many wannabes, they actually have a CD in their name, or an album, as the Bastards say, not without reference.
The band was pretty much like an album that I put out where I played everything but the drums, and I had somebody playing some percussion, and some saxophones and clarinets and a cello player. But I played all the guitars and keyboards and basses when Geoff was the drummer. You know, Geoff the drummer I've been playing with him since I was like 16 years old.
Drummer Geoff Tarulli has been playing with Johnny in several bands, and it was only natural that Johnny asked him to play drums on the CD. I asked Geoff what comes to mind when he remembers recording the album. He shares a true rock and roll anecdote with me.
Let me think. Well, it was, I don't know, I had fun for the most part. I remember that I was dating this nightmare of a girl at the time, and I remember that the night before we went into the studio, she was supposed to come over and we were supposed to hang out. And, you know, I was going to go to bed early because we had to get up at like 8 in the morning. And the drum tracks were first, and even though a small little label was paying for it, I mean, we only had a finite amount of time. So you want to get things done as quickly as possible without rushing them. And, you know, she was just kind of a fall-down drunk, and so she never showed up. and I never got a phone call or anything. So I was up the whole night just like drinking, wondering where the hell she was, trying to track her down. So I spent the whole night up drinking, and then I went to sleep at like 6:30 or 7, and then got up at 8 and had to go into the studio to record all the drum parts.
Totally wasted.
Well, I was a wreck. I mean, I was mostly just tired by that point, you know. But I did well, and Johnny congratulated me. I mean, also, you know, I was just worried. I mean, just like, you know, what happened. She was living in a really bad section of town at the time too, so I don't know if she was living in a really bad section of Roxbury. So I was all worried. But I got in there, and I got over half of the songs done in one day, and that, I mean, it was good. And then by I don't know how many hours I did, but it took us probably until 11 o'clock to mic everything, set everything up, and then I played for a bunch of hours, and then by the end, the producer came, at the end of the day, just came out and was like, okay, you're done, like, you can't play anymore, you're blown.
After the album was finished, Johnny needed to play live to get people to buy the CD, and he turned to his friends.
You know, we got Gowell wanted to play, and Geoff, of course, wanted to play, and then we found the camp was actually Marc Campiola, the guitar player, singer now. It was actually the original bass player. So Josh, who was like, you know, extremely angry that I hadn't had him in the band originally, because he was, you know, really like, you know, come on, man, if you ever start the band, you gotta let me play, you know? But Josh never really been in a band. He was just a kid that played bass in his room, so I didn't know, like, it's different to, like, play live. And I knew Josh was a good bass player, but it's like, sometimes people can't always, like, play live like they can, like, in their room playing to a record or whatever. So, but, you know, I told him, all right, if the camp doesn't work out, then you're the first person I'll call. And so I did. I called him when the camp didn't work out, and he turned out to be really good. He worked like a, you know, he worked his ass off, and surprisingly, he was really comfortable live. I feel that he was one of the better stage presences in the band live. You know.
He looks like a real bassist to me.
Absolutely. You know, it's nice to have that stereotype, like tall, like lurchy, like big bass player too. You know, like Chris Novoselic, and you know, it's a good rock stereotype.
Geoff is just like the sarcastic bastard. He's always got like really inappropriate jokes, and you know, like at the same time, like extremely intelligent, and well-read, and you know, very self-deprecating.
Gowell brings skill to the band. He's, of all of us, easily the best player by a long shot. His sound is great. He's a really good guitarist. He's excellent. He always considered himself a rhythm guitarist, and his rhythm is excellent, but I always thought he was a good lead guitarist too. And he's actually shaped the songs, like of all the people that are in the band now, he's the one that's had the most impact on shaping like the songs, and that like him and I have worked a lot on the guitars together.
Johnny's just Johnny, you know, he's just like, he's the man with the plan, you know what I mean?
I blew it right in my solo close-up.
Do you know he cut his hair?
Yeah, I saw that on Monday. I was pissed. Sucks.
Why were you pissed?
Because it's like, you know, very rock and roll to at least have somebody in the band with long hair, you know.
One rainy summer night in July. The band is preparing for a gig in Somerville. It's going to be the first time that Marc will take the stage with his old buddies again.
What's it like being back with the Electrical Bastards?
It's good. We haven't played in a while. I used to play with these guys years ago, so it's fun to get back out, start playing again. Hopefully we're going to play well. I got the butterflies a little bit, so
You do?
I'm a little nervous, but
And why's that?
just haven't done it in a while. I'll be fine once we play. We'll rock. We'll do good.
And the band is happy to have Marc back too.
Marc, I've been friends with since I was like 10 or 11 years old. You know, he's like literally like one of my best friends for my whole life. So, I know it's just awesome hanging out with him again. You know, because for a couple of years, like we just didn't see each other that much. You know, but it's like we can like not speak for like months and then hang out, and it's like, you know, the same old shit. You know what I mean?
Marc actually grew up with Gowell. He's probably known Gowell as long as I've known Josh. So I mean, he was already one of our friends. He was already in the family, so to speak. So when it was just great that he wanted to do it, and he can play guitar well, because we didn't have to go out and find someone and initiate a stranger and kind of feel like he didn't fit in. Or Marc's, it's just one of our friends came to practice one day. So I think that's we lucked out a lot.
The longtime friends are reunited on the stage, but not only the band are good friends, the audience is too. Carla is a friend of Josh.
What's with the Electrical Bastards? They rock. What else do you want to know? That's all you need to know, actually.
And this is Jeff's girlfriend.
So what did you like best about them?
They don't try to be something they're not. They don't like dress up and try to look like pretty boys and hot shots and that kind of thing. They're okay with who they are.
I've seen them play many a time. I'm a big fan, actually. A couple of my buddies are in the band, so because of that, I like them. But you know, I like them independently of my friendship to them. They're very good guys, but excellent musicians.
I started filming the Bastards because I was curious to find out why the band is so important to my roommate Josh. Actually, it was Mike, not Josh, who had the best answer to that question.
You know, it's like we're all friends. We've all lived together and we've all like hung out before this band anyway. So it's like, that's what's cool about it. You know, it's just like band practice doesn't feel like. I mean, sometimes. For any band, sometimes practice is going to feel like a chore, you know what I mean? But for the most part, it's like, all right, I'm going to hang out with the dudes. You know?
More than anything, the band is a social occasion. But that does not mean that the Bastards do not have serious aspirations.
Where would you like to be with the band in 2 years' time?
Touring Europe, Japan.
Would you do that? Would you?
Oh yeah, I'd love to do that. Sure, it'd be great. Yeah, have a successful, you know, be playing, you know, shows on a regular basis. Hopefully, you know, you know, the great thing would be to make a living off this, you know, but, you know.
Is that what you're all secretly hoping
Oh,
for?
I'm sure, yeah. I mean, we'd love to, you know, quit our job. I'm sure we'd love to quit our jobs and just, if we could, just, you know, play rock.
We would have to have a lot of organization and a lot of professional help to do something like that. I mean, you know, you can't, like, just jump into the deep end like that either. Like, I mean, the focus now is to try to do really well in Boston, and then if we can get a national thing going, cool, and then an international thing comes later. So I guess the long version of your question, short conclusion would be there's not any immediate plans to conquer the world, no. We'd rather do really well in Boston right now. So maybe New York would be nice.
Those things are.
And his middle pickup. I did that. I picked up.
Hey, we're back in the studio. This is Dead Air Live. My name is Charlotte Govaert, and this are the Electric Bastards. Take it away, boys!
Thank you, Charlotte.
Life was good, and I felt cool. The force field that I built myself was functioning on full. I had my friends tucked safely away, where my outstretched arms could reach them if I needed them someday. But what the hell is happening to me? I'm starting to regain my sense of empathy. Now I have feelings, these horrible feelings, and I'd be better off to the machine. But everyone knows that robots do not rock. Life was good when I was numb. Then a breaker broke, a switch got flicked. Now look what I've become. Oh, what the hell is happening to me? I'm starting to regain my sense of empathy. Now I have feelings, these horrible feelings, and I got to better off to the machine. But everyone knows that robots do not rock. But I look at girls, they don't look at me, and that's how it is. To see what I see is an amazing arrangement. It's such a rhythm, it's strange. I look in the window at every chance. I've got all my lights out, I'm watching her dance, so I should dance it like a little girl. So innocent, I can see. And she does give it up a little while. Because she doesn't know she's dancing for.
This next song is called Texas.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
I know someday I'll have to die, but I bet you $1 I won't die today. I don't want to microchip inside my brain, and I've never been to Texas. Well, call me the picture of invincible youth when I passed out at the wheel of my 75 Fury. And now I know that in the depths of my sleep I can still make those wicked turns onto the street. And I know someday I'll have to die, but I bet you $1 I won't die today. I don't want to microchip inside my brain, and I've never been to Texas. And now time will tell, I'm a robot in hell. I know that things suck, I'm not programmed to care. Seen a new breed of zombie stalking the streets. They want entertainment and data, not brains and fresh meat. And I know someday I'll have to die, but I bet you $1 I won't die today. This new wave experience is blowing my mind, and I've never been to Texas. Well, I've never been to Texas, but someday I'm gonna. And I'll have to cook breakfast in bed for Madonna. And I never leave my house till I smoke marijuana. But after all, and I'll let all this I'm a goner. Sing for me now, people. I know someday I'll have to die, but I bet you $1 I won't die today. I don't want to microchip inside my brain, and I've never been to Texas. I know someday I'll have to die, but I bet you $1 I won't die today. Yeah, I don't want a microchip inside my brain, and I've never been to Texas. Well, I've never been to Texas. Well, you know what I'm talking about when I tell you that I've never been.
Thanks, everybody out there in TV land. We're the Electric Bastards, and this next song is called Play the Fool.
Little salt and it melts in the water, it melts in the water. In the sky every summer make you cry, so baby I don't think you oughta, baby I don't think you oughta now. Come baby I steal for you, now come baby I kill for you. Only one thing that I won't do, lose my cool, and I'll never play the fool. Baby, are you being true? Baby, are you being good? Then let me put my arms around you. Baby, if you're misbehaving, it would make me feel so cool. I would break your face in two, and your pretty face now. Come on, baby, I steal for you. Now come on, baby, I'll kill for you. Only one thing that I won't do, lose my cool, and I'll never play the fool. Come on, baby, I steal for you. Now
Thank you. What's the next song called, Jeff?
It's called Problem Song.
The song is called Problem Song. It's about a man with a problem. The problem is too much drinking.
No problem.
That's no problem, says our bass player. What do you guys think out there in television land?
Puffing gas is okay. Ready?
I suppose. The TV's screaming Armageddon, but I'm just trying to keep the demon seething in my head, breathing in my sleep. And maybe I should write a little letter to my mama and tell her in the letter all the things I never wanna. Oh, why do these monsters haunt my sleep? Is it because I haven't had a drink in over a goddamn week? Oh, well then pass me the whiskey bottle and I'll tip it down to my brain full throttle. Whiskey won't clean my dreams and wash the ugly up the world away. When I said yeah, I just whiskey, come and love me like you done before. Wrap your arms around me like the comfort of a whore. Don't gonna leave it, but I know it isn't gonna be today. When I said yeah, when ready, gonna leave you, girl, 'cause we're talking about a salty shake. And if I can't learn to live without you, girl, pretty soon you're gonna leave me anyway. Hey, hey. And if tonight I try to close my eyes to the void of space and time, infinity would not contain the sleep I need to find. If I could dream of anything, I dream of blacker space, where nothing bad could touch me, where not even light escapes. So, mama, why do these monsters haunt my sleep? Well, is it because I haven't had a drink in over a goddamn week? Oh, well, then pass me the whiskey bottle and I'll tip it down to my brain full throttle. Which won't clean my jeans and wash the ugly up the world away. And I said, yeah, I just wish you come and love me like you done before. Wrap your arms around me like the comfort of a whore. Don't gonna leave you, but I know it isn't gonna be today. When I'm ready, gonna leave you, girl, 'cause we're talking about a salty shake. And if I can't learn to live without you, girl, pretty soon you're gonna leave me anyway. Hey, hey. Thank you very much. Woo! All right. Glad you all could make it tonight. We're coming to you live from your television set here in Somerville, Massachusetts. It's SCAT, Dead Air Live Show, and this next song is called
Black Jets.
Black Jets.
Ready?
Kick it, boys.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Well, I live in a world that I don't quite understand, and everything I've ever done has been according to the plan. 'Cause I believe in God, and she believes in me, and if you are also beautiful, then I'm content to be ugly. When I go to sleep, I dream such evil dreams that best black dresses, sex and riding feet, and I don't know what it means. I don't know what it means. When I was just a boy, well, I thought I knew it all. No one suspected that the center of the universe was only 4 feet tall. But now that I'm a man,
everything that was. Well, baby, baby, I will not regret one thing, because I lived my life in love. And I step with a girl who makes me glow like a solar ray. And I'm a complicated bastard, I'm the son of a bitch, but she loves me just the same. Night when I go to sleep, I dream such evil dreams. Red vest, black dress, insects and riding sheep, and I don't know what it means. Oh no, I don't know what it means. Don't know what it means.
Thanks, everybody. That's our brand new song. We got more new songs, but not tonight. Tonight you hear nothing but old songs. What's the next song, Jeff?
The next song is Bad Luck.
This song is called Bad Luck.
Ready?
I'm ready.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh, I got a burning pain beneath the center of my brain. I tried to fill my heart with glue, so maybe I could stick with you, yeah. Sand screws, electric electrons, very short. With the tip of electrons to take out you, filling up my head when I got room for you now, baby. She said, bad luck now, she's my lady. But I still want you to be my lady. Bad luck, I want to get out on the highway, but I'm still stuck here in the driveway. I just might make it out alive if I could stay in overdrive, and I got a head full of nothing. I got a mouth full of teeth. Oh, there's too much confusion. Whoa, I can't get no relief. Sorry, Jimmy. Bad luck now, she's my lady. But I still want you to be my baby. Bad luck. Bad luck now, she's my lady. But I still want you to be my lady. Oh, bad luck.
Yeah. That was called Bad Luck. How's everything sound out there? Well, if it sounds bad, you need to buy a new TV.
Johnny should tell our audience at home how they'll all be replaced someday.
Oh, yes. Someday, when Mark is done tuning, you will all be replaced. By what? Ready? The fuck machine! 1, 2, and a 1, 2, 3.
Don't build me a fuck machine. I'm gonna build the goddamn thing. And then I have no time for things like little petty human emotions. But I'll learn to Chinese, because you're not like you and me. a tart. We have no time to waste, 'cause we have no sense of taste. And I forgot to wear my face with a little steady human emotion. When I was living in a submarine, there was water on everything, and I declared myself the king of little steady human emotion. When I was tired of the submarine, I blew my head up with a submachine. You might have thought that it would sting, I didn't feel a thing. As I fall apart, as I fall apart, I wish I had a tart. And my free time is the time that I spend sitting on my ass. So I'm not unseen, I'm just unseen, and some of my friends know what I mean. I'm so glad they know. To watch TV and find out who I'm supposed to be. And I purpose with a mediocre flat. Spend my time to time that I spent sitting on my ass. So all hail the kings of Silicon, who spin the world from the telephone. Pretty soon they will make us alone, so that none of us will ever have to spend the night alone. Until they win off the bird boat, never come to last. Services on purpose with a mediocre flat. Say my time is the time that I spent sitting on my ass. So no. Thank you. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, as you may have guessed, it's a little awkward for a rock and roll band to play in a like an empty studio, except for Keith. Can we introduce Keith? No, Keith doesn't want to be introduced. Let it be known, ladies and gentlemen, that Keith was actually here. What's the next one? I'm in love? I'm in love. Yep.
think we were a little out of tune, so we apologize for that. This will be our last song this evening, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know who the hell it is I think I'm talking to. Is anybody watching this?
The lines are lighting up.
To tear out my eyes and with my love thought resides that she could lead me around in our heaven of sound, and I can do my molecules every insignificant syllable. To tear out my eyes, but I'm too pussy to try, and all the ugly I see radiator would me, my love. Would you be so kind as to render me blind and hold my hand that I drown in a heaven of sound, and I can move my molecules.
Thank you.
Hey guys.
Thank you very much.
Guess what?
What?
Room for one more song. You play too fast.
We try to whip out Dictators.
Right.
So just swing it. Fuck it.
Wing it, dude.
Why not? Alright, one more song. This is a Dictator song. Don't tell him. We don't want to pay him any royalties. We're getting paid big dough for this gig. Damn, I wish I had my laugh tracks. The exciting part of being a band is tuning. It's exciting for us and exciting for the audience. Yes.
All right. Well, that's why they call it Dead Air Live. All right. Has science gone too far? 2, 3, 4. Listen here, I've been lost inside this laboratory. 15 years I had a thirst and desire until you came along and it all backfired. It helped the kid to understand all of the secrets stored in man. Now it will ravage all in its path as it grows, 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 as it grows. Science got too far, science got too far. How did you ever break the jaw? Science got too far, science got too far. Maybe it hasn't gone too far. Don't let it die. Its molecular structure is a one of a kind in a world. But hellfire, radiation only added the fuel to the fire. Now there's a creature on the loose. Time is proportions it has induced. Innocent people have to die. 'Cause it grows.